Hey guys, I wanted to make an update on my station wagon project. She's almost ready to run. I've got all the wiring pretty much done. I've got a few things I'm gonna hook up for the dash, and I just gotta get some relays because I'm missing some of the relays for my fuel injection. I'm going to this thing is not pretty. It never is meant to be pretty. This is just see if it works kind of thing. I kind of want to, it's like kind of funny when you're racing somebody who has hundreds of $1,000s in their car, or maybe not that much, but thousands. And this car has basically $4,000 in it at the most. I gotta do a calculation. I've got to write it down and see what I have in it, but I don't think it's much at all. I've really done this project budget minded because I've spent way too much money on my Camaro. And this one, I just wanted to get it running. It's going to be a nice cruiser, something I can go on trips with. I mean, it's reliable, is what I want it to be, is reliable, cheap, but, not things that are going to break and have problems later on. So, of course, I've got new hoses. I could have saved money there. A lot of things I've reused in a junkyard, but things like the hoses, I'm going to go ahead and put new hoses on, of course. But I got the intake off. I went ahead and I'll show you guys my idle air temperature, not idle, intake air temperature sensor. Hopefully this works. I had to replace the one on my Camaro. It was $20, but I think this was a good one I had. This is not even a screw and fitting. I just drilled a hole in that thing, in that pipe. This is one of those that you just kind of push in, put a bunch of RTV around it, put a screw in it. Hopefully that'll hold up. We'll see. I did run a new 3/8 fuel line. I'll show you. This is what I used. This fuel line right here is 3/8. It's that it's brake line really, but it's like the stuff that's not gonna rust. It's real soft, so it's easy to work with. You can bend this stuff by hand. It's a little expensive, but I used a 3/8 fuel line because this thing has 5/16 fuel line for the feed and 1/4 inch for the return. So I just didn't think that was going to be enough for how much power this thing's going to put out. So I went ahead and used the feed as a return, and I added a 3/8 fuel line to it. And maybe I'll show you guys that later on when I get it up in the air. But it is on my lift right now. I went ahead and made my shift linkage. Made that work using welded washers to it and stuff. I didn't have to spend any money on that. I'm going to have to bend my throttle. This is like off of a 3800 throttle, and I just made this bracket right here. It's really loose right now. I'm gonna have to bend my cable to take up that slack, and plus it doesn't have enough travel to open up this throttle. So like right now, even if I had it all the way tight, it would probably open up to about right there. But this is just temporary. We'll see. I might have to get something else. I don't know, maybe a low bar, but I'm gonna see if I can make that work. I've got the belt on. It's a 92-inch belt. Hopefully this thing doesn't it doesn't bend too much. I had a problem one time with a supercharged vehicle I had, and this had a bracket kind of similar to this, and the old alternator was basically flexing every time you rev the engine. But this thing doesn't, it just has a few things running off the belt. Hopefully it won't be a big deal. If not, I will add some kind of brace to it to help that. Other than that, of course, I'm using a truck computer, something I just picked up at LKQ, flashed it, and it's got a 3-bar base map on it right now, so hopefully it should run and idle pretty well, especially with the LS1 cam. Shouldn't have no problem. Let's see, what else? Okay, the thing that's holding me up, keeping me from cranking it up, is my tank. Unfortunately, this thing sat for years before I bought it. And I think they just threw, when I bought it, it was running and driving, but I think they just threw a fuel pump in it. But this thing right here is so rusty. I don't know if you can see that. It's really bad. But basically, there's a bunch of just flakes coming off of this thing. Plus, I've seen these tanks leak. So I had to go ahead and order a new tank. I think it's about 130 bucks. They ordered the wrong one. So I'm waiting on them to send me another one. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. Hopefully that's the right tank and I can get this thing running. But it's really weird though, because it's got 3/8 line here and then 5/16 for the return. But later on in the fuel system, it necks down to, like I said, 1/4 inch for the return, 5/16 for the feed, which is just pretty small. And that's what's holding me up. I'm gonna put a Camzo fuel pump in. I'll show you guys this thing. It's a $20 fuel pump, of course, off of eBay. Uh, okay, sorry about that. I dropped my camera. Where is it at? Let's see. Is this it here? Yep, here we go. These are just all my spare parts I got. Just of course, eBay comes in a white box with no name on it. Oh, it's not even a Camzo, it's a Most Plus, so even cheaper. I think the Camzo is 30 bucks. But I've used these fuel pumps before, and they're pretty good. Seems like it, at least. I'll give you guys an update on it. There's the part number and stuff. It's a 340 liter per hour pump, so hopefully we'll see. If not, I'll put a Walbro in it if it goes out. These tanks are not that hard to drop. If you guys have any questions, just put in the comment section then. I would be happy to answer any of them.